It's Bay Lifestyle and it's time to catch up with the team from the Canny Group, and this time it's Krys Canny-Smith, and you're one of the directors there at the Canny Group. Krys, and what are we talking about?
Hi Roxie, today we're going to talk about Fringe Benefits Tax.
Oh, I don't like that.
I know, and it's not a very exciting topic, but yesterday was the end of the FBT year and I just thought I'd catch everyone while they've got time to do something about it.
Can I just ask this before we go into what you're going to tell us? Why do they have the FBT year at this time and not with the other?
Look, I don't know the history of it, but I imagine it has just been easier to administer. Like, we have different due dates for different types of returns and things like that. So I assume that's why it was set up that way.
Right. Still annoying.
Yes.
All right. So tell us about Fringe Benefits Tax.
Well, I'm really just going to talk about cars because they're the main thing. So if you work for a big company and you have a company car, I would think you'd have already been asked to read your odometer. But if you're a small business and you have some cars that are owned by your company, you probably haven't thought about it. So you really should go out at the end of the FBT year, check your odometer reading. And the reason being, there are two methods of calculating the fringe benefits tax on cars. The first is the statutory method, where you just pay 20% of the car's value. Not a big deal if your car costs $20,000, but if your car costs $70,000, that's a big problem.
Right.
The other method is the operating cost method. So what you do with that is we keep a logbook for 3 months, work out what percentage is private use, and you only pay for the costs relating to the private use. So if you're someone with a very expensive car and not much private use, this is really for you. So,
right, yes.
So I thought I'd get in early.
That's a really good idea. Like I mean, I wouldn't even think about that.
Yeah, and a lot of people won't. And it's really so much easier to pay your 20%. And a lot of people just can't bother keeping a logbook because it's a hassle. But if you can keep your logbook for 3 months.
What if you've changed cars in between that time?
Yeah, so then it's worked out on a pro rata basis for how long you've kept the car. But if you have changed your cars and you're keeping a logbook, you need a new logbook for the new car.
Right. Okay, so it's, there's a little bit of work in it, but you've just got to do it. It's one of those things in business you've just got to do.
Yes, and just a bit of a call out to other people who don't have company cars but use their cars for work. One thing I always suggest is keeping a logbook as well. The reason being, you can claim up to 5,000 kilometres at 66 cents without a logbook. But if you're, say, a tradie and you're going to a lot of different work sites and they're all around Melbourne, you might have done 30,000 kilometres.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you can keep a logbook, keep all your expenses, you may be able to claim 2 or 3 times as much. So now's the time to do it because it's got to be kept for 3 months. So if you start today, you'll get your 3 months before the 30th of June.
Perfect. Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much for giving us that little nudge along, Krys. Very important. And if anybody wants to know anything more about fringe benefits and fringe benefits tax and how it might affect you, because a lot of people may not realise that these are the ways it can affect you, then they just need to get in touch with you at the Canny Group.
That's terrific, yeah.
And thanks for reminding us that there's only 3 months left until the end of the financial year. This is okay. It's Christmas soon.
Yes. Thanks, Roxie.
The Canny Group, you can catch them at thecannygroup.com.au.
Thanks.